Hi all, welcome to my first FIFA 21 Marquee Matchups predictions video, folks. Apologies for not doing the first 2 weeks and also this being later than usual, but joys of everything going on, but we will get there and we'll get back into normal service for every week from here. So smash likes, as always, we much appreciate. Sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter, G the Legend. All links down below for both the channel and social media links as always, and comment down below who you think could get a marquee matchup for this week. There's 6 games in total that I think will happen. Obviously from there the 4 could be difficult, could just go like logistically. I think they will go Inter and AC Milan, Everton, Liverpool, Celtic, Rangers and Feyenoord and Sparta Rotterdam, with Sporting versus Porto and Lens versus Lille being the other 2 candidates. I would probably, like, the order that I'm going on screen is probably the order that I feel it would go. I think the 2 small games pick themselves, the 2 big games pick themselves, but Sporting and Porto can easily overtake one of the other options. What you've then got to think from there is, where do you kind of like not just invest, but it's like if you want to get prepared for it, but also where you like what requirements you try and factor in for. Like for Inter and AC Milan, best advice is Serie A, one of each team. So like 1 Inter, 1 AC Milan, so that's like Kessie, Sensi, Radu, Tonali, Calabri, those type of players. Then you also factor in the league, so like other players within the league, so like, preferably usually Italian Serie A players, for example. So starting off, breaking them all down, Sparta Rotterdam, Feyenoord, Turnstrat or Lear are 2 examples that you can go for. You can go for Sinisterra, you can also look at Haps if you really wanted to, but there is, like, you generally want to be looking at the silvers and also the golds. Like the gold from a Feyenoord perspective, silvers and the bronzes from a Sparta Rotterdam perspective. As long as you prepare for 1, I always say 1 minimum, but I like to prepare for 2 because you never know what they may do. And then you want to prepare the Eredivisie, so you ideally want to prepare Dutch first, and then rare is extra. So don't be surprised if they try and put player quality being minimum bronze or minimum silver. But as long as you're prepared with silvers, rares, Dutch, and then a few nationalities on top, you should be fine. Don't generally spend a couple K per each, 2 to 3K generally you can get away with. For Leo and Lens, with that one, Bamba and Fofana are examples. You've also got Kakuta for Lens as well. You've got Jonathan David, you've got Andre, you've got Jose Font for a high rate in case you decide to try and juice it up like 78 rated or something. But Bamba is probably going to be a common one to go for because he's French and obviously he plays for the team. Then same rules again, Legun and rares and then French. So you then try and look at like the Boucher, you then try and look even at silvers. You could even look at like Kolojizak, then Jurk, Savenir. Then you can even look into other rares within the league, so like Delort is quite a good rating to go by because he's 80 rated and rare. So you wouldn't find yourself too short of options then, realistically, so that's the way to kind of go with it. Sporting versus Porto, you've got Sporar for Sporting Lisbon. Ramos is a goalkeeper. They're kind of like smart options to kind of cover your back right away. Then you can maybe look at Diaz for Porto as well. And fundamentally from there, within the league, you would then look at like your Portuguese players like Louis Neto, also Sporting, so that kind of covers the Portuguese base. Don't be surprised if try and make it Portuguese emphasis, so that would kind of, as long as you've covered from a Portuguese element, I feel that is where this one, I feel that's where Sporting and Porto will be kind of like heavily, like, so like Ramos and Louis Neto right away, that would cover here, as I said, the Portuguese and also Leonos and also the 2 teams respectively. But at the end of the day, they can play about the requirements as they go about. Celtic and Rangers, the goals obviously Tavernier and Morelos. Then you've also got, from a Celtic view, McGregor, Brown, El Yunusi, Edward if you really wanted. Then within the league itself, Scottish players, you can look at Greg Stewart, Alan McGregor. Then general players within the league, so like Stevie Mallon, Scott Allen, Scott Wright if he's in like from Aberdeen. You can look at different players within the league that are just like bronze and silver Scottish players. That's generally what I would focus on. Focus on the Scottish players within the league, and you won't really exactly find yourself short of options. So like that's where I feel like the SPFL version would be. They would focus on like either exactly like minimum quality, say silver, but that's where you would try and emphasise is like Scottish silver, Scottish Premiership players. As we said with the Milan Derby, Kessie, Sensi, Radu, Gagliardini, Calabri, Tonali, maybe less so Rebic. Then from there you would then try and focus on like the gold within the league that are Italian. So you might get the odd person say like Perrin, which is 82 but it's like 900 coins, so you may want to cover him, but then it's overkill. So preferably you're looking, Lazari is quite common for an 81 even though he's like 750, which is quite crazy even at this stage of FIFA. But I suppose if you're able to try and cover your back with a mix of ratings and a mix of overalls, like Berardi, Consigli, they feel like Consigli's like 500 coins for an 81 non-rare gold, so kind of says everything at this stage of FIFA, but take what you get I suppose, but it gives you a good idea. And then finally the last route to cover is the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Everton. You've got John Joe Kenny, Holgate, Decour. From an Everton view, Michael Keane even. Liverpool is like Simicus, the left back, the Greek one that was recently signed, Minamino, Adrian, and obviously English players in the league. You could even kind of factor in Milner. You could factor in for like Tarkowski, like Matt Lowton, Charlie Davis, Ben Mee, those type of like Burnley, even Johnny Evans for example as well, for like even though he's Northern Ireland you could still factor in for like rating because they could juice it up a little bit, but then it would cover your back regardless. But as I said, these are the 6 games that I feel that they will go for. As I said, Inter AC is my first choice, along with like my top 4 as I said is Inter, Everton, Celtic, Feyenoord. My top 4, Sporting and Lens are my other 2 that I kind of feel that they will go for. Usual kind of like pack return probably, but at the moment the way this seems goes like 60k or so, 60-70k, might be a little bit higher in requirements this week, so be prepared for that as well. But let me know folks in the comments down below what marquee matchup suits you fancy. Smash like always, sub to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you all later.